Hello and welcome to ThePrint. I have with me today Mr. Suhail Shaheen. He is the head of the political office of the Taliban in Doha and is also the official spokesperson for the Taliban that is presently acting as an interim government in Afghanistan. Welcome to ThePrint, Mr. Shaheen.
Thank you.
Thank you. I will ask you certain questions regarding as to what is happening right now in Afghanistan, because that is what everybody is concerned about and also talking about. Now, let me first ask you, last August, when you came in to Kabul and you took over Afghanistan, from then till now, we are almost heading towards end of May. Do you think that the Afghan people has accepted you as their government? If so, then why are you still acting as an interim government? If you can give us some details on that.
Yes. If you speaking about the people of Afghanistan, if you mean the people of Afghanistan, we are accepted because there were many gatherings, assemblies of the people in support of the current government, and tribal leaders and religious scholars and others, people from all provinces coming to Kabul and to the governors of their given provinces, going there and showing their support with the current government. So we have the support. If you mean those who are in the Western countries, who are the rulers as a result of the occupation of Afghanistan by US and its allies, so of course they oppose us, but they themselves are living in Western countries. They have the citizenship of those countries. They are more Western people of Western citizen rather than being the people of Afghanistan. But the common people, yes, they support us because we share their values, their belief, their culture, and their interests.
Mm-hmm. So that is interesting because, Mr. Shaheen, I was also in Afghanistan last August, and I saw how people don't really see you in the sense as a foreigner. Of course, you are part of the society, but when you talk about being the government of Afghanistan, a place that has gone through so much of conflict and war since the 19th century almost, you are now looking for international support, right? But when you talk about international recognition or support, some of the steps that you are taking are completely opposite to that. Now, of course, I'm talking about letting Afghan girls not go to school, then the directive on the burqa. Now, as I said, I was in Afghanistan and I saw even women in Kabul always had their head covered. Women in other places like Mazar-e-Sharif and all, they wore burqa. What else you want these women to do? And do you think if you continue taking these steps, will you ever get a recognition like that?
About recognition, we have all the conditions required for recognition of a government. We have control all over the country. We have support of the people. We have borders under our control, including the capital, Kabul, and we are able to defend our country and our people. These are the main conditions. We have all this. But, unfortunately, many countries have their political motives, and they are connecting that with recognition. So they are going more by their political motives rather than going by the rules. as regarding the rules, we have all the requirements. But political motives and their goals, they should be asked why they are not giving us the recognition or recognizing us. Sorry. Secondly, about the girls' education, I would like to say we have more than 100,000 female students in private and public universities right now. The other day, more than 3,000 vacancies were announced by the Ministry of Education for female teachers. And more vacancies are coming from the universities and from the Ministry of Education. So that means we have allotted vacancies and jobs and creating job opportunities for female of the qualified female of Afghanistan. It is not ignored or is the situation as portrayed in media.
Well, I do understand.
Thirdly, about the secondary schools opening, I just received today information. A committee is set up particularly for this issue to resolve it, and I hope this issue is resolved at the earliest.
Okay, but Mr. Shaheen, my point is, yes, there are women in universities, there are women who are working. I'm also aware of the fact that some of them are presently also working, but at the same time, if you don't let these young girls undergo the schooling, they will be missing their precious years of education. And recently, in one of your interviews, you said that your daughters also go to school. So you know the importance of it, right?
Yes, I know the importance of education. And I have been seeing the education is the right of both boys and girls. And my government is saying the same. Only the issue is of conducive environment and the hijab. Because we are an Islamic society, we fought for our liberation for 20 years. Our files and ranks and our people are expecting us this. This is the demand of our people. We have promised that we have to deliver that. So we are not against education, but just we will provide a conducive environment. And for that, this committee of religious scholars has been set up. And I hope this is finalized and the result.
So you want these young girls to be completely burqa clad, and only then can they attend the schools?
Not burqa. I don't say burqa. Burqa is one type of hijab. It is not the only type.
When you talk
they can choose a shawl. Yeah. By environment, I mean there will be girls' schools, not co-education, mixed education. Girls' schools, you may have it in your country, girls' schools. The same we want, the girls' schools. And they can use a shawl, the girls. They can use the hijab, which is used all over the Islamic countries, and even non-Islamic countries. So it is not burqa. This is, I think, a wrong message spread and gone in media.
Well, we also do have girls' schools, but we also have co-education schools. So it's a mix of both. So maybe the committee will take that call. How soon do you think that final call will be taken by the committee?
I think it will be soon, because the committee, it was to establish the committee. Now the committee has been established, and their only goal and task is to seek a solution to this issue, which is also the demand of our people.
Okay. Okay. So now moving on, I believe recently you also took a decision to sort of close down the Human Rights Commission body that was operating in Afghanistan, and the UN Human Rights Commissioner has really condemned it and said that this gives rise to a lot of concern, and also some commentary is also there talking about the fact that the Taliban is doing exactly what it did when you were there in power in your previous regime. This is not a different Taliban. What do you have to say to that?
That Human Rights Commission was just a name. It was always supporting the Kabul administration and their atrocities and crimes supporting. But at the same time, those people who were offering sacrifices, struggling for liberation of Afghanistan, they were calling them as terrorists.
You mean they were supporting Russia?
Yes. They were overlooking that the torture. They have not investigated the torture being carried out by the past administration. So, but it is not, of course, we will consider in future a new setup, which is human rights, an organization in its true meaning, like not it was in the past. So that is for future. We do not rule out that there will not be any organization to see the human rights in future. So, but some organizations are not needed, like the parliamentarian organizational setup in other setup, which has been abrogated and cancelled. But the statement says when there is need, we will reorganize those departments and announce them on the basis of need.
Mm-hmm. But let's just take a backseat here, Mr. Shaheen, and also understand that some of the decisions you've taken on the Afghan girls' education, then the kind of clothing they'll be having. Now this decision. After all of this, let's say, you are also in a way upsetting the UN, the international community is concerned. How do you think by all of these you will be able to manage the economy there, which has completely collapsed? Although your leaders, I can see they tweet that they are traveling around private jets to all these countries, but what about the common Afghan? What about the Afghan economy?
It's about the female students of primary education. They are more than they were in the past regime, because at that time there was no security, especially in rural areas. Now is security there, and all schools are open. So that's why the number of girl students increased, not decreased. The private and public universities are open, and with female students attending their classes. But only the issue is about secondary schools, which we are keenly following that to
but my question, I'm sorry, Mr. Shaheen, my question was simple. The international community seems not to be too happy with the Taliban government. In this kind of a scenario, while people are giving humanitarian aid assistance as much as possible by all countries, you need to also have a proper structure to revive your economy. Now, if the international community is upset with you, how do you think you can work along with them, or they will ever support you in the long run?
Yes, the international community should not tie their humanitarian assistance with political demands. If they have any differences, we are ready to talk about that and to solve those differences to reach an understanding. But they should not avenge the common people. They should not use starvation as a tactic to get their political goals. the sanctions imposed by many countries in the international community on Afghanistan, the people of Afghanistan suffering because of those sanctions. They should be lifted, all these sanctions. And we are ready that to work with the international community and in the field of economic activities, and we are ready and have investor-friendly laws, and we welcome investment of other countries, while at the same time, we are working on basic rights of our people in the light of our Islamic values, in light of our noble tradition of the Afghan society.
Okay, now let me also ask you, Mr. Shaheen, and this is something that is widely discussed, of course, in India, is your relationship with Pakistan. Now, we recently heard from the spokesperson, Mr. Zabiullah Mujahid, that, that the Taliban government in Kabul is facilitating, basically playing the role of a mediator between Islamabad and the Pakistan Taliban. Also, there are talks that within the Taliban, there could be, this is done because within the Taliban, there is some sort of division between the Taliban, the seniors, the elders, then the young leaders, and of course, the Haqqani network. What would you like to say on all of that?
Yes, we want peace and stability in Afghanistan and in the region. On the basis of the Doha Agreement, we are abiding by that. And for that, we have mediated, between Pakistan and the Pakistani Taliban. So that is good for everyone. We want Afghanistan to be a hub of trade and to create an environment where all countries have commerce, good relation, and which is beneficial for the people of all countries, of our neighboring countries, also in the regional countries. Yes. Mm-hmm. Your second part, please, if you repeat.
Sure. The second part was basically about the divisions that are emerging in Taliban, within the ranks of the Taliban, between the seniors, the medium level leaders there, and also, of course, the Haqqani network.
Yeah. No, these are some of the assertion and claims which we have been hearing for the last 20 years. That is a fourth of series of those claims. We do not have, our leadership do not have different views. They had one view. It was liberation of the country and establishment of Islamic government in the country, which we have right now. So there is no difference about that. We want economic activities for the people, job opportunities for the people. We want a good relation with all countries, cooperation with all countries. We want peace in Afghanistan and peace in the region. These are the main things which all our leaders agree. So there is no division that among our leadership, but only those are the claims by our opponents, and that they raise this, portray this in the social media time and again.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you something, Mr. Shaheen, in terms of the, when you say there are no divisions within the Taliban and it is as a one unit, you say that the Afghanistan wants to be a trading hub and there should be peace, but we keep hearing a lot of commentary from various experts and international experts that there could be again a situation where Afghanistan will become a hub of terrorism, and the fact that if the economy is not getting revived, then there is a high chance that again all sorts of terrorism will emanate from there. And also the fact that if you want it to be a trading hub, do you think countries will be ready to do business with you?
We see it that no one use the soil of Afghanistan. We see this in our national interest, and it is our commitment according to the Doha Agreement. We are abiding by this. We think if that happens, it harms more Afghanistan us and the people of Afghanistan rather than others. Foreign agenda has never been our agenda. From the beginning, our agenda was to free our country and establish a government supported by the people of Afghanistan. That has happened. So there are, always claims by our opponents regarding cooperation, economic cooperation, assistance of other countries. They are welcome. Now there is peace and security, and there is need for their economic cooperation, assistance, and we have natural resources in the country, huge natural resources, and we welcome investment of other countries. So they are welcome. I think now it is appropriate opportunity for all countries to come and start their economic projects, initiate their projects in Afghanistan, which are good for them and also for us, for our people.
Mm-hmm. But I get to hear from a lot of places in provinces, especially in Afghanistan, that there is a lot of violence going on. When you talk about peace and security, we keep seeing all these images coming out from rural Afghanistan, people getting whipped, tortured, and the Ministry of Vice and Virtue having their police go door to door. What do you have to say to all of that?
No, that's not true. Because some of those videos, they are from the past, but they are put on air and spread that claiming that they are new videos while they are not. About the Ministry of Prevention of Vices and Promotion of Virtues, their police have special uniform. So this has been done in order to prevent any other person, a third person, who want to harm our government. They do not pose himself or herself as the worker of that ministry. So it is not true. But we are facing a huge propaganda which are not reflecting the ground realities in Afghanistan. That is why we also welcome journalists to Afghanistan, that they come to Afghanistan and see with their own eyes the realities and reflect those realities in their reports.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope to do that soon and visit the country again. But
you are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Shaheen. So my last question to you would be, what are your expectations from the Indian government? India was, in South Asian region, India was the largest aid giver to Afghanistan. It has a lot of projects running. It has done already a lot more. And it seems that probably the government will be reopening the embassy in Kabul. What would be your message to the Indian government in terms of the safety and security of our diplomats and the fact that our projects there, India's projects there, will be protected?
First, we have announced time and again that it is our commitment to provide security to all diplomats working in Kabul. It is our responsibility, and we have proved that. There are many embassies in Kabul working, and we have provided full security to them. So that also includes India if they want to reopen their embassy in Kabul. Secondly, they are welcome if they want to complete their projects or to initiate new projects. Thirdly, India should not have a relation and base all their relation on individual links of those officials of the former Kabul administration who are now in Western countries living along with their families, but rather they should have a relation with the people of Afghanistan. The people of Afghanistan were there in Afghanistan, they are there, and they will be there. So that is, I think, good for them. We are now two independent governments in countries. We should have relation on the basis of national interest and on the basis, on equal basis in mutual interest.
Mm-hmm. So one basic question as I end it, when are we going to see this interim Taliban regime to become a full-fledged government? Is there a requirement for that which is stopping you from being one, like a proper government, then in a manner of an acting one?
Yeah, we will have a permanent government, not this transit or a temporary government, interim government. But now, now it's only 8 months. So it is not, a long period for a government. But of course, the aim is to have another government, a permanent cabinet in place. And I hope that would be done in due time in future.
But why is it not happening now? What is stopping you?
Yes, that would happen in future, but has not happened right now because this government is also answering the needs of the people of Afghanistan. It is in place, but it is some changes are taking place, even in this government, about the deputy ministers and other ministers. From time to time, there are new appointments and transfer from one place to another. But to change the complete cabinet, that is something of for we will see in the future.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Shaheen, for giving us your time, and thank you for talking to ThePrint.
Thank you so much.